People used to always ask him for recommendations of leadership books to read. And his standard answer was, the best leadership book I know is the Bible. And in it, it tells you how to treat others and to be respectful, to be patient, kind, compassionate. And that's the kind of legacy that he would appreciate.
Thomas E. Richards was a lot of things to a lot of people, but what he wasn't was someone who sought the limelight or needed reminders of his many accomplishments. There were plenty, but for Tom, it was faith, family, and then everything else.
He definitely made it a point to be there for as many games as he could. He would rearrange his travel schedule so he would be there for their basketball games or their baseball games or Lindsay's dance recitals. So it was faith first, family second, and everything else third.
Tom's just an incredibly unusual human being. I mean, he was and is and always will be in my mind a very humble and kind individual. Big heart. He tremendous commitment to family, to his faith, to his friends, to the community. He put himself last.
It came as a shock when Tom was diagnosed with cancer in 2021. He was athletic, driven, healthy. He exercised, ate well. He got annual physicals. But after initial tests where he lived in Chicago, he and his wife called Dr. Stan Marks.
So this was a real gut punch. And we sent all the information, all the scans to Stan. And I called Stan one day and said, I don't know what to do. Things are moving slowly here. He said, Mayor, just get him on a plane and bring him here. So that was a Thursday morning at 10. Thursday night at 7, we were on a plane. And Friday morning at 9 a.m., we were at Hillman in front of a team of doctors that literally took care of him.
Tom was diagnosed with an aggressive cancer which affected his bladder and then his liver. At UPMC Hillman, his doctors were able to give him the newest drug, just approved a few months earlier by the FDA. It gave him a little more time.
The doctors at Hillman found a pill that had just been approved by the FDA 6 months before Tom started taking it. And so December 15th, he started taking this drug, and the results were amazing. And the results lasted for 5 months. It was a short period of time, but it was a good period for Tom, those 5 months. So had it not been for Hillman, researching and finding that pill, Tom would have been gone a lot sooner.
Tom was driven, and he worked to achieve success from the basketball court to the boardroom, professionally and personally. He was a 4-year starting point guard for the Pitt Panthers, where he helped to lead the team to the NCAA Elite Eight in the 1973-74 season. It was at a Pitt game where Mary Beth said they had their first date. Mary Beth also played basketball for Pitt, and she and Tom passed along their love of the game to both of their kids. Lindsay played for the University of Iowa and Jason for Davidson. Both were point guards.
He had this study in the house that Jason and I grew up in, and you always knew it was going to be like an intense talk. If he called you into the study and he shut the door, Jason and I would tease each other. Said, "Oh, you had a study talk, huh?" I said, "Yeah." And you'd walk in saying, I'm gonna stay strong, I'm gonna hold my ground, I'm not gonna budge. And by the end of it, you'd walk out of the office with your tail between your legs and a big hug and a big kiss, and always better off for it at the end.
He's my role model, obviously, and he's someone I've always looked up to. So when he sets the bar so high, you never want to disappoint him. And my dad was great at, telling me you have to create your own path, you have to be your own person. but he was the best person to look up to go to advice for, to mold my life and who I am just by trying to be like him.
It's the job of the point guard in basketball to assist, not to make points, but to assist others to win the game. That's what Tom Richards did here many years ago playing for the Pitt Panthers. But that's what he took with him in life, to assist others, to help others in their goals and their pursuits.
Point guard mentality. I mean, you're the quarterback on the floor, you're the extension of the head coach, you're there to help others. And it's funny how it carries over to life and in business. I think that's why people say my dad was such a great leader, because he cared about everybody else.
But people is kind of what motivated him, right? Which gave him the energy to get up every day. You know, that was his legacy, impacting people's lives in a long, an everlasting way.
Tom leaves behind quite a legacy, teams of people who benefited from his leadership, corporations and boards that benefited from his expertise. But Tom and his family also wanted to support not only the University of Pittsburgh, but cancer research for the scientists who will find the cures to help others who come behind Tom.
Great leaders are bright. Great leaders have high energy, tenacity, determination. He was unusual in that he had a very high emotional IQ. And you put smarts with energy and high emotional intelligence together, and special things happen. And that was Tom.
A humanitarian is defined by someone who seeks to promote the welfare of others through their generosity. That is Thomas E. Richards, our 2022 Dick Swanson Humanitarian Award winner.